was in school doing my GCSEs, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I was good at maths, I knew I enjoyed science, and I thought maybe I'd want to be an accountant. After listening to my sister tell me about what she was doing at university in her accountancy degree, I decided it wasn't really for me. Spoke to my dad, he's usually full of knowledge, and he's an engineer. He said to me, there's 4 generations of engineers in our family, why don't you consider that? So really, I didn't know what an engineer was. I thought someone who was an engineer was somebody who fixed my car. That's a mechanic. That is not what my dad does. So I went online and had a little bit of a Google search to see what I could find out. I ended up doing something called the Inter Engineering Seminar, which is run by a charity, and it gives students the opportunity to trial engineering in a nuclear industry. I thought it was actually quite interesting, and it made me decide that I was going to take the right A-levels at least to pursue it. So I took maths, further maths and physics, only to realise physics is not my strongest suit, at least not at A-level. It was a big jump from GCSE to A-level, and I came out with a D despite resitting quite a few of my exams and getting a tutor. I still got into a good university and I did study mechanical engineering. When I was there, I did a design module. Nearly every year there was a design module, and it was my favourite. You get the chance to either model something as you see it there, or something that you've come up with in your head. I think that's pretty cool, especially if you know that you can then get it created and see it for yourself, something you designed. So then from there I went and did a 2-year graduate scheme with James Fisher Nuclear in mechanical design, and that is what I do now. There is no typical working day in this design that I do, in that I can be given a project or I can be on multiple projects depending on the size of them. At the moment I'm on quite a large scale project and I work for 3 different teams. One team specialises in tooling for robots, and one team does the support for it in the civil structures, and another team is the overarching with a lot of the documentation. So I can be designing something on CAD one day, the next day I might do the calculations for it to prove my design works, and then other days I might do the documentation that goes with it. So that can be a design brief to state exactly what the specification is and what I think it is and how I'm going to design it. The calculations and any legislation and directives. So you have to do a machinery directive to check that something applies to the machinery directive, and if it is, how you've applied it, and any other documents that are required. I've also been involved in the trialling of some of my tools as well, so I've got to actually see them being used and even had a go myself at driving them. I've had opportunities to teach operators how to use my tools and set up trials rigs to test everything. Each day is a different new challenge and I really enjoy it. So in school I was really academic in that I tried really hard. It didn't come easy to me, but things like maths I really enjoyed, so I got stuck into them and I did quite well. I had like a large group of friends, so it's not like I was someone that didn't have many friends either, but we were all really academic as well. Then we got into A-level, and although I thought I was trying hard, I realised that I'm not as smart as I thought I was. My ASs didn't go so great, so originally I took maths, further maths, physics, chemistry and French. I thought, oh, I've done French since I was 6, I must be alright at it. No, I just enjoyed it, and learning about it kind of took the enjoyment out of it, so I dropped French. I also dropped chemistry because that is really difficult, and well done anyone who can do that. Anyway, I had to carry on physics because I realised at this point I actually did really want to be an engineer, and I was not so great at it, so I got a tutor, as I said, but that didn't do very well for me. But it's paid off now because I'm doing a job I really enjoy with the things that I learnt about. So on a day-to-day, I wouldn't say I use maths every day. In the designs that I do, maybe occasionally I'll have to tot up a few numbers and come up with a decent amount of dimensions and how they'll work together in sort of basic maths. But then it comes to things like actual calculations. So I have the opportunity to write a calculation report that proves that my design works. So we look at things like cantilevers of beams and putting physics principles into practice. It's not always easy, and I don't always know what to do straight away, but I'm surrounded by a lot of people who are willing to help and to give me the advice and guidance that I need to make sure I can keep working on these skills. I don't know anything compared to what they do, but I enjoy each day learning something new, and I would say I learn something new every day. So from school and university, I would say that I learn a lot of sort of teamwork and communication skills, both in verbal and written. Throughout school and at university, you're always encouraged to do things as a team, especially assignments. We got a lot of team assignments. So this meant having to talk to your team as well as writing down. So we'd send a lot of WhatsApp messages or Facebook messages and also emails to communicate what each of us are doing and also organise what we're doing. So that's another skill that I think I learnt really well that I've put into practice at work. So on a day-to-day, I'll have like a to-do list of what I've been told I have to do and what I know I have to do, and I'll add to that and I'll speak with my line manager and tell him what I need to do, as well as the rest of my team. I'll have a task list that I get on with each day, and I'll tell people if I know that that's going to affect another task, if it'll slow it down, if I'll get it done quicker. And these are all ways of skills that I've learnt throughout school that I've put into practice now. One thing I will say is do what you enjoy. You don't want to come to a job each day that you don't enjoy, you don't want to wake up for and go to. Pick something that interests you. So at school, I enjoyed maths. I thought, I'll try that. But I could have gone to university and just studied maths. I probably would have enjoyed that too. And there are careers that you can do with that. It's not an immediate jump and you might not know exactly how you're going to transfer that, but you can get onto apprenticeship schemes because you've showed that you are dedicated, that you can do the work, you can apply yourself. Don't worry, you can change your mind. If what you pick now isn't what you decide you want to do in 10 years' time, you can do something else. You can retrain. Just make sure you do something that you enjoy.